Well, all right, here we go. This is the recap for NFL Week One. The season's still very, very early, but I think I did really well. I started out NFL season going a really good record at 12-4, playoff team, if you will. And my four losses were a bit shocking, but uh, it's all good. It happens like that sometimes. So we start off with the first one. I got the Eagles right over the Cowboys. That was easy. The second one, I got Chargers over the Chiefs. Bolt up. Like I said, if you don't know, you know it's bolt up. Bolt gang and no bang. You know what I mean? But we finally took over against the Chiefs. Finally made a statement, and we got that win in Sao Paulo. I chose the Falcons over the Buccaneers, so that's one loss for me. I chose the Bengals over the Browns. I chose the Colts over the Dolphins. I chose the Jaguars over Panthers. I chose Raiders over Patriots. Cardinals over Saints. Steelers over Jets. Commanders over Giants. Broncos over Titans. I chose Seahawks over 49ers. I get into it. I chose Lions over Packers. I'll get into it. I chose Rams over Texans. I chose Ravens over Bills. I'll get into that. And then I chose the Vikings over the Bears. So, like I said, that brings me up to an astounding 12-4. And I think I did pretty well as far as just a raw guess of what I feel like the teams are made up of. I feel like we ain't got to do too much talking about the Eagles over the Cowboys outside of the spitting. What is that about? I think Dak played a part into the spitting, but regardless of anything, Jalen Carter, you can't spit on no man, especially before the first play of the first game of the year, and you're the defending champion. That's a dumb play. Can't get that too emotional into the game. Got to keep it cool. But it is what it is. I felt like the game was a lot closer because of that, because he's their best defender and he plays nose tackle, defensive tackle, whatever you want to call it. So he's really a game wrecker, and it showed that their confidence rose as soon as he was disqualified from the game. I'll dive deeper into the Chargers afterwards. Bengals looked terrible. I think the Browns should have won that game. If you took the plus money on that, I feel like you were a genius. But yeah, Browns should have won that game. Bengals look terrible. Their offensive line is god awful, and even worse, their defense stinks. But hey, we knew that when you paid three guys top dollar at their position, essentially. So that's how I go. Colts over Miami. I don't know why, but something told me go Colts. They dog walked them in Indianapolis, so we ain't got to shed too much light on them. Tua is who we thought he was. Take that for what you will. I don't understand what the comparisons are with Justin Herbert, but it's just another showcase on how they're not on the same level. Jaguars, I knew they had to bounce back, and this was a good time to bounce back against a struggling Carolina Panthers team. I feel like, Trevor Lawrence had a lot to prove, and they got Travis Hunter there. I really like the receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., I believe he is. I will say Tet is a pretty strong receiver. I don't think he all that or nothing like that. I think he's a solid number two or an exceptional number three, but he's going to be big for Carolina this year if they have any ambitions on potentially challenging for the division. Go down to the Raiders versus Patriots game. I don't know why, but something in me just said we're gonna go Raiders, even though that sounds weird coming from a diehard Chargers fan. But the Raiders, they retooled, they got a better quarterback. They have Ashton Jeanty, who was shut down, but whatever. Y'all don't want to talk about that. I feel like although the Patriots they did very well in the offseason as far as bolstering up their defense and picking up key pieces around Drake May, I think that they're still a little bit away, and I feel like a veteran coach like Pete Carroll, if I don't, A veteran coach like Pete Carroll can identify those things and motivate the Raiders to play really well against New England. And I think it's a very big win too, because they went to Foxborough, got that dub. Who else? Cardinals Saints, we really got to talk too much. I think the game is a little closer than it should have been, but at the end of the day, division rivals are gonna not division rivals, excuse me. Um, Two teams that are really tough as far as their identity are going to play tough against each other. Somehow Cardinals find themselves into a weird like back and forth game, and these are the type of games that they squeak out. It was really big though that they did it on the road as well, following the Raiders as well. Steelers, although I picked them, I am very shocked overall. Uh, I didn't think they were going to look that well, especially. I'm sorry, I didn't think they were going to look that good, especially with Aaron Rodgers and all the hoopla. They did sign a lot of Hall of Famers to their roster, but at the end of the day, you still got to play in between them lines. I will say though, a sleeper team to keep your eye on is the Jets. Their defense, although they gave up 34, their defense was pretty good. I just think it's like little key things that they were missing, and with a veteran QB like Aaron Rodgers, those mistakes were picked up on. They were up; they should have won the game in the fourth quarter, but hey, sometimes Aaron Rodgers will be Aaron Rodgers. Um, Commanders, Giants. I'm a little disappointed in the Giants offense. I thought their defense kept them in it as long as possible, but their offense did absolutely nothing. I don't think it's very fair to blame Russell Wilson for their shortcomings. I think he played a role, but overall, if your O line can't block, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? I also think they need to get more plays, especially early for Malik Neighbors because he's all world talent. But like I said, it don't matter what play you scheme up. If you can't block for your quarterback or your running back, the plays are dead. It's just that simple. Broncos, Titans. Off the top of the head, I thought Broncos were going to win by at least 2 touchdowns, maybe even we'll call it 10 points. But it was an 8 point win, but it was a lot closer. And I think the Broncos tried their hardest to lose the game. The Titans, with expected a rookie quarterback, number one overall pick, although their defense is pretty good, there's a reason why they had the number one pick in this past draft. So we ain't really got to do too much. Cam Ward played up against a really, really stout defense, and it was on the road for his first NFL game. So to me, I thought that was a no-brainer. But I think the future is bright there. And I truly don't understand what, like towards the end of the game, I don't know what Sean Payton was thinking. Going for it on fourth down instead of kicking to get the 3 points to put the game out of reach. You wanted to make some weird statement on week one that you're here or whatever his mind thought. It was stupid. And then to compound a bad decision, Bo Nix, they had a two-way route or a two-man route, I should say, and he chose the wrong one. Like he went to Marvin Mims on the right when the wide open pass was the deep cross on the left-hand side. He could have turned around, caught it, and crawled into the end zone. But hey, the Broncos went in that direction. I guess they felt comfortable in their defense, or he was, or there was a rookie quarterback over there. I don't know what the idea was for that, but it is what it is. Seahawks versus 49ers. 49ers looked awful, especially Brock Purdy. Dude was thrown into double coverage, triple coverage. I believe there's an interception that was quadruple coverage. The Seahawks defense did everything it needed to do to win this game, and somehow the offense let them down. I don't understand what happened, but if you keep giving the 49ers chances, especially guys like Nick Bosa, they're going to eventually turn around and bite you for such poor play on offense. Packers Lions. Only thing I could really say about this game is the Packers are for real. It was pure domination. The score was 27-13, and it really wasn't even that close. They dominated from the opening kickoff. Like it was apparent that the losses of both coordinators for the Lions played a big factor. Obviously, they lost some key pieces especially on defense, but they couldn't cover a soul. And then on top of that, their tough, dominant running game and their grittiness that they follow from their head coach, non-existent. Um, Side note, why are we going to talk about Micah Parsons making Penei Sewell look like a mere human? Like we're talking about one of the top tackles in the game, look like food, like lunch. I'm talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Micah Parsons was handling Penei Sewell every chance he got, and then he ended up getting his sack. Yeah, Jared Goff did not have a good day, but I think the Lions will bounce back. It's just we have to adjust our minds a little lower, at least I do, to the Lions being a little worse than they were last year, but I still think they'll win a good amount of ball games. I think it was more so a bad week than the whole idea of what their season is going to be. Rams handled the Texans. I feel like we don't have to do too much. Matthew Stafford did his thing. His O line is atrocious, but they did go up against a good front in the Texans. That retooled defense is pretty good. Their offense though, yeah, it ain't even too much to talk about. They scored 9 points. What are we talking about? They only scored 3 more points than the Giants. So that's pretty much that on them. I think the Rams offense needs help, but I think that's more of a week one thing than anything else. The Ravens blowing a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter with like 4 minutes left is insane. I felt like they played not to lose more so than to win. They just felt like Derrick Henry's not going to fumble or turn the ball over. He did. They go down, score. Then they started this prevent type defense, which was very odd. And then even with all of that, if uh the safety Kyle Hamilton puts his arm at a different angle, he blocks that game-winning kick, and then we're not even talking about this. We're talking about how they almost lost. So I think the Ravens are still a top team in the AFC. I think they're still better than the Bills. I just think they got like the yips when it comes to playing the Bills at the Bills. They just find a way to either lose the game or drop the ball at the goal line or whatever it is, they find a way to lose those games. And I did see the stat how the Ravens have, I want to say like double digit, they have double digit leads blown that were double digits, if you're following me. And then the Monday Night Football game, which was like oddly entertaining in the second half, the Bears absolutely pissed down their leg and lost to the Vikings, a rookie quarterback at that. McCarthy played his ass off in that fourth quarter and got his team to victory. I still think that the Bears, obviously, they're a work in progress, but they're a lot better than they were last year, especially on the offensive line. As long as Caleb Williams can use his feet and his escapability, if he can use his feet and his escapability, then he'll always keep his team in play. But their O line still, they got a little bit of meshing to do, a little kinks to work out, but they'll figure it out. And this is off of not even having Justin Jefferson play a game to his standard. I think he only had like 3 or 4 catches for like less than 50 yards. He had the touchdown to either potentially tie it or take the lead, one of the two. But that fourth quarter was totally dominated. I think it was to potentially tie. That the fourth quarter was totally the McCarthy show. He showed out on his first game. Bright lights on Monday Night Football, and I'm proud of him. So, like I said, to recap, this was a 12-4 week, which I think is pretty solid. With one, how many games? 1, 2, and 3. So 3 of my 4 games that I lost were like weird comebacks. The Bills beat the Ravens. I chose the Ravens, and that was a weird comeback. The Bucks came back and beat the Falcons, who had a chance to tie it up at the buzzer to go to overtime, and he missed his field goal. And then who else? Oh, the Seahawks was pushing down, and then they fumbled in, and Bosa got the strip sack and recovery. So 3 of the 4 games that I chose were, in theory, supposed to be winners, but the only one that I was just way off on was the Lions beating the Packers. But like I said, 2-4, it is what it is. The games that I wanted to come back to, um, where were we at? The Falcons Bucks game. That I said he missed a field goal. Um, the Jets Steelers game. The Jets. Is it too early to say that for real? Like the Jets with Justin Fields, his mobility, he's putting that ball on the money. And I think this is a learning experience for him as far as real game time. And I think that moving forward, they have a good foundation to win some ball games. I could even go out on a limb, potentially say they win 9, 10, maybe even 11 games this year. They had a great showing at home. I think their fans should be proud of that. And I'm actually rooting for Justin Fields and the Jets because their defense has been good for some time now, and now I feel like they have a quarterback to lead them with the identity that they're looking for. And lastly, my Chargers. Yes, sir. We went down to Brazil against our foes, that's our big bros, essentially, that's been dog walking us. I think in the last 8 games, we're like 7-1. No, we're 1-7 against the Chiefs. I will say, though, that we've played the Chiefs very closely in most, if not all of those games. So it's not a surprise to me that we won. I think the surprise overall is that we won in the fashion that we won. We led the entire game, and we did not give up the lead to Patrick Mahomes at the end. We held the ball, got the crucial first down. Some key points that I did want to go over, though, with the Chargers. First of all, Justin Herbert. I've been trying to tell folks he's better than Tua. I've been trying to tell folks that he's better than a lot of these guys. I think he's better than Baker, even though Baker is my guy. I like Baker. For sure better than Tua. We're not even about to talk about that. I think he's in that upper echelon class. I think that the Brandon Staley era hindered him. I think I forgot the coach who was before him, black coach, but I feel like those teams just had no chance overall to really shine. He doesn't have all the blame as far as Justin Herbert. He doesn't have all the blame. He definitely has some blame. But when you go to Jacksonville and you give up a 27-point lead, or last year you have your absolute worst playoff or your worst game of your career, and it just so happens to be in the playoffs. But if we look at those teams and you go bar for bar, you can see that those teams were not as good as the other. But we're not making excuses. We're talking about this year. And this year we started out the season strong. And technically this is a home game for us, even though we were all on the road. But yeah, we came out and we dominated this game. Like we was up 10-0. Then we was up 13-6. Then it was 13-12. Then it was 20-12. Then it was 20-18. Then we scored another touchdown again to go 27-18. And then they scored that field goal, and then they never got the ball back. Justin Herbert completed damn near 74% of his passes, 3 tutties. We finally got to see Omarion Hampton. He didn't have a stellar game statistically, but he had that crucial 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, whatever it was. After QJ didn't get that first, QJ had a great game. 5 receptions, 2 tutties. And then, of course, 3rd and Allen. You know what I mean? He's gonna show up on 3rd down. That is a awesome safety blanket to have. Shout out to Allen, by the way. Met him at Raging Waters over the summer, right before he signed. So that's my guy. Got his jersey and all of that. And of course, we got to talk about Ladd McConkey. That guy just knows how to get open. And I think now that Keenan Allen's on the team again, we have 2 guys that can beat one-on-one coverage easily, and you can only double team one of those 2. And then now that gives QJ or Keandre Lambert-Smith or Trey Harris or anybody to win their one-on-one matchup and not worry about somebody else shading over the top or blanketing them in coverage. And that's not even to mention Tyler Conklin or Will Disley. Like, we have weapons, and Justin Herbert and the Chargers really feel like we need to showcase those weapons based on the matchup because there's so much to go around. Patrick Mahomes did Patrick Mahomes things. He completed a pass over 3 or 4 defenders parallel to the ground. Like, he really kept them in the game. Hollywood Brown, technically on the score sheet, he had a good game, 10 receptions for 99. But a lot of that came on that last drive where he threw it on 4th down and it was just like a blown coverage at the end. So we pretty much bottled him up because I think that was like a 40 or 50-yard gain. So that's half of his yards on that one play. Um, Joe Alt, that's what I want to talk about. Joe Alt absolutely dominated. I think he's in the running for Tackle of the Year, Protector of the Year, the new award that they got. I think he's in the running for first team All Pro. Granted, it's only one game, but Joe Alt has been a stalwart since he got into the league last year. And he played in a position that he never played in right tackle. And now that Rashawn Slater's out for the season, they got him back at the left side. He made everybody, including Chris Jones, look like a mere human. He looked so inactive when he was on Joe Alt's side. They had to move him over to the other side because there was nothing that he was going to do. Joe Alt with them long arms at 6'8", he was stopping everybody. There was no pressures. I mean, hats off to Joe Alt. Clearly, he was the right pick over Malik Nabers in last year's draft, and he's showing us exactly how good he is. And I think it's only going to get better. All right, now on to week 2. You know, we want to be at least 12-4, if not better. We start off with Thursday night football. We have Commanders at Packers. I think it's time to get on the bandwagon with the Packers at home. But I will say, depending on the lines for, us betting folks, might take the plus side for the Commanders. I think Jordan Love played exceptionally well. The offense was humming, but also the Commanders are definitely a tough, tough, tough team to beat. I think this will be a big matchup for Jaden Daniels to go on the road against a great team in the Packers, and then now have to play Micah Parsons again because he had to play him twice, and he thought he got away from him, but now he has to play him again for the Packers. So I think I have Packers in a small edge because they're at home. Number 2, I think Ravens will win, but in a small. No, I think they're gonna blow out the Browns. I think they're gonna blow out the Browns. I'm willing to, depending on the spread, if it's somewhere near less than a touchdown, I'll take the Ravens at home minus whatever it is. If it's under a touchdown, I'll take that. I think they're gonna show the Browns that they should have been 2-0 instead of 1-1. I know Joe Flacco is, really reviving his career. Not that it was dead or anything, but I think that he's back on the upswing. But that Ravens defense is going to be too much for him. They're going to load up on the run, force him to beat them, and there's just going to be too many Ravens around him at all times. Bengals at Jaguars. I think you should take the plus money on the Jags. The Bengals O-line is terrible, but their defense is even worse, which means that the Jaguars are going to have plenty of opportunities to score, even though the Bengals have a high-powered offense. I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think the Bengals. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go on a limb. I'm going to take Jaguars to win the game. I'm going to take that on the road at that. Cowboys at Giants. I think that the Cowboys offense is a little bit better than we all expected. But I do think that the Giants defensive line is still that good. They have all those guys, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter. They still have my dog Thibodeau. I think their defense is good, but I do have the Cowboys winning this game and going 1-1 on the season at Jerry World. But again, that's another team to look at in the Giants to take the plus money, even though they did not cover my plus 14.5 last week. Going on to the Bears, going to the Lions. I don't know. I think the Bears. This is another one, another plus money candidate. depending on what the line is, you might want to take the Bears plus a spread. But I think the Lions win at home in a bounce back game. But don't be surprised if the Bears are fighting in there because the Lions defense is not that good this year. Um, Patriots going to Miami. Historically, Patriots, obviously because of Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, they've dominated the Dolphins. But some way, somehow, when they go to Miami, maybe they're up all night, maybe whatever. And it's a 10 o'clock game in Miami, so it's probably going to be hot. Um, the Dolphins looked so bad last week. I think they're going to have a better showing because it's a division rival. They all know each other, this, that, and the third. Um, I don't know, like this one's a weird one, but if I'm just gonna give you my gut reaction, as far as betting, I'll take the plus spread for the Patriots, but I think, yeah, you know what? I'll go Patriots as well. I'll go Patriots to win on the road in Miami. I feel like I'm going to change my pick, but I think I'm going to go Patriots. We'll see by the end of the video. We go 49ers at Saints. I'm going 49ers. We're not even thinking too much about it. If you really want to, chase something, you might go plus spread for the Saints at home, but I'm going 49ers. I think it's going to be that simple. Brock Purdy played very badly, and I don't think he's going to double that against the Saints. Bills at Jets. Jets, Jets. We going with the Jets this week. I think I'm gonna go spread plus spread for the Jets, but I'm gonna take Jets to win at home versus a division rival. I think the Bills escaped with the win last week and they got super lucky. And I think the Jets came up on the short end of the stick in the same situation, but in reverse. So I think the Jets close it out and they go 1-1 and make the Bills go 1-1. Seahawks at Steelers. Yeah, I'm going Steelers. And they're at the crib season opener. I'm gonna go with Steelers. I seen Sam Darnold. I had a lot of high hopes for them. Um, I don't know. I just can't see it right now. So I'm gonna go Steelers money line. Rams at Tennessee. I might, hey, plus spread, depending on what it is, plus spread. I'll take, the plus spread there. The Titans defense is really, really good. And I think Cam Ward figures it out. I'm going to take Tennessee over the Rams. Panthers at Cardinals. We're gonna go Cardinals. I'm not even gonna think too much about it. We're gonna go Cardinals. I think that the Panthers are gonna keep it close, but I'm gonna go Cardinals money line to go 2-0. Broncos at Colts. If the Broncos are the favorites, I'm gonna take the plus spread on the Colts to repeat, even though the Broncos defense is really good. It's a 1 o'clock game, so that'll probably be like a 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock game on their coast or their time zone, I should say. So I think I'm gonna go Colts. I'm gonna stamp Colts 2-0 at the crib. Then we got the 125 game, which is the Eagles going to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. I'm going Eagles money line to go 2-0. I think that with the spitting incident, I think Jalen Carr is going to come in with the vengeance to go tackle Mahomes. But my homeboy is going to have Mahomes magic and he's going to keep it close. But there's no Rashee Rice. There is no, I forgot the receiver's name, but he's out, I would assume. So I'm gonna go Eagles money line. I think the running game is gonna be too much. Also, AJ Brown did not have a good statistical game, um, nor did Devontae Smith. So I'm gonna take the Eagles in this game. Falcons at Vikings. I'm gonna take the Vikings to win, but for us bettors out there, beware of the lines. You could probably take Falcons plus money, even though they're on the road because they play in a dome. So it's not going to really matter too much. But the Vikings defense is good. I'm going to take Vikings money line, but be aware of that plus spread. Here we go. 2 Monday night football games. We have Buccaneers at Texans. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go money line Buccaneers this week. I'm gonna jump on the Buccaneers bandwagon. I think the Texans gonna open up strong, but I think Baker Mayfield's grit and grind. They got a Mecca Buka, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but Buka, he nice 2 tutties, rookie out of Ohio State. I think that that offense is pretty good. The only thing that I'm nervous about is Christian Wirfs is not playing, so that may or may not go. I'm gonna check the report probably Monday, just to see again. But as of right now, I'm gonna take the Buccaneers on the road. Damn, two road games to start the season. Damn, everything's kind of telling me to take the Texans, but I'm gonna take the Bucks. Baker Mayfield, holla at me. And then, of course, my favorite game, the one that I'm highly anticipating, my Chargers going to Las Vegas and beating the Raiders. We don't like them. They don't like us. We gonna spank them again, just like we did 2 times last year. I don't care that Pete Carroll's over there, even though it's my fight on dog. But this is the Chargers versus the Raiders. Raiders versus Chargers. I think our team is better than their team. I know they got some studs over there, but we got some studs over here. And we're going to showcase that y'all can't mess with us. Their defense is too suspect, and we got too many weapons, and y'all can't mess with us. And I will say this, Max Crosby better stay on the other side over there versus Trey Pipkins, because if you come rushing over on our side, you're going to get sat down again like you did last year. So stay over there on that side. Don't come to the left tackle because you're gonna get shut down again. So with that being said, I'm taking the Chargers. So just to recap, I went Packers, I went Ravens, I went Jags, I'm going Cowboys, I'm going Lions, I'm going Patriots, I'm going 49ers, Jets, Steelers, Titans, Cardinals, Colts, Eagles, Vikings, Buccaneers, Chargers. Those are my picks. Let me know how you feel, and let's see if we can improve this 12-4 record and probably go undefeated. Peace.